Welcome back to the Ashley B. Cash Show. I'm Ashley Cash, and I'm super excited to introduce today's guest, John Foster. He is with Middle School MBA. He is not only the president, but also the founder. Middle School MBA is a graduate level business and economics for middle schoolers. An executive MBA for kids, if you will. Teaching kids the skills to be executives, small business owners, but really it's teaching kids how the world really works. He also has a really unique program called Link by Middle School MBA, which is actually a gaming system that teaches kids all about economics and how the real world works in business and beyond. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm so glad to have you. As you know, you and I this week, we are at the Teacher Freedom Summit, which is put on by the Teacher Freedom Alliance. And John and I met each other and immediately realized that we were both doing things to try to make our kids have real world skills. And he has this really amazing product that I wanted all of our viewers to find out about. Now, you take Middle School MBA, which is meant to teach kids skills for the real world, all about business, and you actually drop it into schools.
Exactly. It's the scalability is one of the wild things. We can be in a school literally overnight. Teachers onboard themselves in about a half hour or 30 minutes. And teachers who would tell you up front, this is above my pay grade, I can't do this, I'm intimidated. In just a few minutes, they're like, I got it, get out of my way, I'm gonna go teach this to my kids. Yeah. So we've made it so clear and simple that this thing that used to be, economics and business, oh my God, it's so inaccessible. We've made it super accessible.
Well, what I love about it, and just in the short time that I've been able to see it, and I talk to the viewers all the time about kids needing to graduate with skills, right? And this program gives them those skills, and it makes them understand the bigger world as a whole and the part that they potentially are going to play in it and how they interact, right? How prices of something that they buy at the grocery store, why it's that price, because they can see the whole business chain getting there. They understand the economics around it, and then they will actually understand how to be in the business, bringing capital to the table, creating some sort of widget and selling it to the market. And I think it's absolutely awesome.
Yes, no matter what role they're going to play. I mean, everybody, you're in the world as not necessarily just a business owner, but an employee. You're a much better employee if you understand how the whole business works and what your boss's problems are. As a consumer, you're way better off when you don't fall for marketing scams or payday loans or that kind of thing. And as a citizen, you're much better off understanding how the whole world works. Because what people always try to do is sell you a little slice of it in some sleight of hand way, right? If you don't see the whole picture, they hand you something with the right hand and take it away with the left hand.
Or they tell you that this is happening to you because of one factor, when it's the way economics work, right? Yes, prices are higher at the grocery store, but it's not because someone's doing evil to you. It's because of the way economics work. If you take it all the way back to the original inputs, it's awesome. There are prices along that way that impact your price at the grocery store.
Correct. And there are factors like the Fed printing too much money that creates inflation, and those things are, I mean, Keynes wasn't right about very much, but one of the things he said that was right was not one in 1,000 people can detect what's going on with inflation, right? And every civilization in the world has eventually inflated their currency away and really wrecked their people.
Yeah. We saw that happening in the not too distant past, when we were just printing money for the sake of printing money just so that we could. And we had skyrocketing inflation. And unfortunately, we're still dealing with a little bit of that residual.
We're still dealing with it.
Because it lasts past the time that the inflation was high. that's, I think, the part that most people never understand, right? They always want to blame it on a certain president or a certain politician, but you have to look backward to see where it originated. And usually it was the person before, or sometimes two before.
Correct.
And so understanding that is so critical to understanding how the world works, and so that you can actually be somebody that is not having the wool pulled over your eyes.
Exactly. So better citizen, better consumer, better employee, better business owner, better.
And able to then take
knowledge
charge.
Is power.
100%. And able to then take charge of your life and make informed decisions that are from real stuff. And you no longer just have to listen to the talking heads. Because you have this knowledge that you're bringing with Middle School MBA, you can now sift through what's being said to actually find the truth.
And you know, it's comforting to understand. I used to, back when I was actually in the classroom teaching it long ago, kids would always raise their hand and say, "Why is this class so fun?" And I'd be like, "I'm not here to have fun, kid, get back to work." But they kept asking me that exact same question. And so I thought about it, and I'm like, all right, well, if you're 12, we live in this world of commercial transactions, and it's like being in a blaster fight on Star Wars. You know, it's just boom, 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 all these disconnected things going on. But once you can like see the whole picture and you understand what's happening, you're like, oh, this isn't so chaotic after all. And it's very comforting. Oh, this is something I can grasp, and I know how to go play in this world. And that just, and their vocabulary at that time is fun. But what it really is, it's comforting. I like this.
Well, and I understand why that is. You know, it's so scary when you enter a world and you don't understand the language, right? And it is all foreign to you as a result. And you're struggling just with the basic concepts, let alone the more in-depth things that they start discussing. And so this program, just even being able to introduce it to middle schoolers, you know, or high schoolers, I love it because it's introducing the language, it's introducing all the parts and pieces, and it's doing it in a more gamified way, a very interactive way, where they're getting to play with the different parts and manipulate them, have their own negotiations. You were telling me that by the end of it, the kids are having negotiations. They're critiquing themselves on their presentations, which is another part I love, that you're actually having the kids do presentations so that they learn those good communication skills as well.
Yeah, we try and have everybody involved in everything. So if two kids are negotiating, one is being a timekeeper, because for everything we have time pressure and risk of failure, because that's how life works. And then the rest of the class is judging that. They actually have a score sheet. And did you open an anchor? Did you use this technique? So they got a list of techniques, and they actually afterwards they recap and talk about who did what and how it worked out. So yeah, we like to get everybody in the game whenever we can.
That's awesome. We need practical, skills-based classes like this that actually teach children things that they can use in the real world. And I think that's why I was so excited when I saw it, just because it's not only doing that, but you're doing it in a way that's fun, that engages the kids. And that's, you know, that engagement is the number one factor in whether a child will be successful at it.
Yeah.
And it is very engaging. And tell us how you go about dropping this in schools and what parents out there can do. Can they go to their schools and ask them to adopt this?
Absolutely. Usually it's a parent that brings us to some school. And it's really simple. They can go to our website. The principal or whoever can contact us. The teachers on board themselves in 20 or 30 minutes. We send them a kit with the little pieces and parts for experiments and different activities, so that the teacher just projects the software on the wall, pulls what they need out of the kit, and they're off to the races. We try to be really, really time efficient with the classroom, because there's not enough classroom time, and we don't want to waste it. And so, it's the implementation is super easy, 100% scalable, anywhere in the world tomorrow.
That's awesome. And you start off in the beginning just explaining to the kids, like you have this one slide that I love that talks about when you don't have any financial literacy, you're drowning. When you have personal financial literacy, which Texas kids will have now starting this next year, you are not drowning, but you're still floating with the current, right?
Correct.
You now have control of your own personal money, but you don't understand how the rest of the world around you works. But then when you get into this middle school MBA, it gives you complete and total control over your life. You have control over your personal finances, but you understand how they work in the world around them so that you can make choices, good, informed choices. And you also then have the ability to start a business or to move up in your business because you understand the way all the economic parts of the business work, which gives you an advantage over most of your other employees.
You become a player.
And so I love that visual of drowning without financial literacy, floating with the current, but not drowning, but floating with the current with financial literacy, personal financial literacy, and then having total control over your life and all things about it from an economic standpoint with the middle school MBA. I just think that's such great a visual. And we'll put that up on the screen for all the viewers so you can see it, because I was like, makes sense. But so you start at the very basics. You start with vocabulary and you move forward with different concepts, and you have a model that the kids can see to understand all the different concepts. And then ultimately, the kids create a business out of some widgets. They form the widgets. They figure out all the costs. They write a business plan. Then they present it. They negotiate with their classmates or the principal or some business leader to come in and negotiate their costs, their prices, their everything, and then ultimately figure out how to sell it. Right?
Yes, a little more truncated along the way because, again, we're trying to be really, really efficient with classroom time. But yes, that's essentially right. And the idea is with every lesson, we try to start super simple, and then we progress smoothly to something that's essentially profound. We start off talking about for supply and demand. How are we going to price a hot dog? And we look at the laws of supply and the law of demand with no charts or graphs, no numbers bigger than your fingers. But they visually, again, see exactly how you balance supply and demand. And then we take that up to even more abstract and profound stuff like shortages, the shortages that they have in Venezuela because of price controls, and how do prices, and then what is money? And then even into how does blockchain work and all that. So very, very fundamental. And, like I think of it, if you teach somebody coding, if you teach them a coding language, that's great, it's useful. But in 10 years, it's going to be gone. There'll be a different language that you have to know. But when you teach these principles, they'll have that forever. And they can apply it to anything their entire lives.
Well, and to any market that they happen to find themselves in. And it's my understanding that you also talk about free markets versus different other types of economies.
So yeah, with our model, we show the exact mechanisms for how the market works, how the prices and capital interact, and how are prices formed, and how it's actually prices that allow an economy to respond to consumer desires. That's the mechanism by which it works. And once you understand that, then we'll take the opposite case. The opposite case is Marxism, where, let me one step back from that. Prices are essential. You must have prices. You find prices by negotiating to discover what they should be. You can only do that when people are owning the thing they're negotiating over, right? I can't negotiate with this other person's car. I can't negotiate that price. It doesn't belong to me.
Right.
The price we get won't be real. And so to have real prices, you have to have private property. When you go to Marxism, there's no private property. And so there's no prices. And so there's no way to know what to do. Your capital structure is a disaster. Your economy is a disaster. And then what people naturally do in that case is they go, well, this isn't working. I'm going to make some side deals over here, with my friend under the table. And then the state has to go, no, stop doing that. And that's the reason all of these systems eventually become authoritarian because the people resist what they're trying to do to them.
Because it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm starving. I think I'll do something different, right?
Yeah, I got to protect my family.
And now I'm going to put, the state says I'm going to put you in jail for trying to do this. And it's the same story. So you've got a market economy on one end of the spectrum. You've got Marxism on the other end. And in between, there's a whole continuity of different things. But the more you attack private property, the worse off you're going to be. I mean, it's so clear from things like the economic freedom of the world. They plot economic freedom for many countries and what kind of results they achieve in terms of living standards. And it's just so obvious that the more free your economy is, the better off everybody, the more peaceful, the more prosperous. It's just so much better.
But that's exactly why it's so critical that we teach this to kids.
Yes.
Because when you don't understand it, you can be told anything and you might be willing to believe it.
You can look at a little piece of it and, it looks like this. But if you look at the whole picture, no. It's this. And so, we show the exact, we don't do any, I think it's unforgivable to mislead a child. And so we don't do everything we do is like we were teaching physics. This is connected to that. This is connected to that. And then when we go to Marxism, we use the Communist Manifesto. We use the original documents. Here's what Marx wanted, and then here's how that plays out. And kids just see for themselves. We don't make value judgments. We don't push a point of view. We just let them see how things actually work.
Well, and I love that because I think that's what's really important in education is that we just tell the truth and then we let things fall where they're naturally going to fall and we let people have their viewpoints. I think that's important, but I think making sure that they all have the correct information and then they can make their decision, right, is the really important part. So I love that that's how you do that. I think it's a great program, and I think that there's so many opportunities for it. Now, we talked about you dropping it into schools. And the parents and the grandparents out there, if you think this would be a great program at your school, whether it's a private school, a charter school, or a public school, or even homeschool, there is an option for parents who want to buy this for themselves.
Absolutely.
And you can be a participant with your children. You can have all of your children do it, or you can get all of your friends' kids together and run this program and have them do it together. And I think that's another really great way to make sure that your children have this available. So I'll probably have to buy one today to take home to my kids. Now, they're all above middle school, but I still think that this is more beneficial than anything they've seen. And honestly, I think this is better than a lot of things they're doing in college, frankly, but
it actually is. It actually is.
Yeah. So while it is called Middle School MBA, I think that that's just a starting point. I think if you have kids of any age, heck, I think a lot of adults could really benefit from this as well.
And we do have some products for adults. We have a video called Economics in One Video.
Okay.
Again, it's like 20 minutes long. It assumes you know nothing at all and takes you all the way through business cycles and all that stuff. So,
well, as I told the viewers when we started today, we are here at the Teachers Freedom Summit, and there is a big rally going on just behind us. So if you're hearing cheering and things, that's why. But would you please tell people again where to find you and how they can get in touch?
Yes, just middleschoolmba.com.
Okay.
Everything's there.
And this has been our interview with John Foster today. And he is doing dynamic things to make kids' lives better and make them have real skills to graduate school with and know how our real world works. So, John, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
It's been an honor.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. And I hope you will join us next time for more ways that we're planning on transforming the K-12 education system. Thanks.